Apple shares are jumping on the announcement of a record $110 billion share buyback. Now, let's just get to Barton Crockett here, who's been listening in on this conversation on one of the bears that on Apple. Barton, you just heard one of our guests laying out the case for why he's short on Apple. What's your take on that, and why isn't that the right play?
Well, look, I mean, our rating is a neutral rating, and we have switched to neutral. We were a buy rating up until the summer, and we downgraded pretty close to the peak. And our thought on Apple is that it's a great company. There is a place for it, but it's okay to trade it. It's okay to own more, own less of it. You don't have to sit there forever. And I think that reflects the maturity. I think that this is a company that a decade ago was a juggernaut, and now is a consumer staple. And there are times when their product cycle and the consumer cycle and the market positioning is encouraging, and there are times when maybe less so. I think it's a company that you want to be careful. You want to buy it at the right price. You don't want to underestimate them, but they're most interesting when they're on the edge of disruptive innovation, right? And they did that with the iPhone. They've done that with the watch. They've done that with AirPods. And now they aren't doing that with Vision Pro, and they've given up on their e-car. And so you're leaning into to artificial intelligence, Gen AI. And the question there is, are they going to truly be innovative, or are they a me too, right? The locus of activity for AI is at Google. It is at Microsoft. We've heard very little about what Apple has been doing. And so it's really a show me story. Can they put up something at the WWDC in June that turns around consumer appetite for their devices, stokes more demand? Is that feature that you do remember, that you do crave, or not? And that's what the stock comes down to. And right now, we need to be convinced.
So if they announce an AI-powered iPhone, does that change your view?
It's not announced.
If they do announce it.
Yeah, but I think that's a given. I think they've essentially already announced. They said that AI will be in all of their products. What matters is the details, and what matters is, do they have an AI device that's compelling? It's one thing to say you have an AI device. It's another thing to deliver some use case that consumers want. Our survey work would tell us that there is an appetite. Consumers are interested in AI capabilities. And in their minds, conceptually, that can be a reason to buy hardware. They're more favorably inclined right now on the Android side of the universe. And the Samsung phone, I think, is caught fire and been a share gainer. And it's not clear that Apple can do better than that, or even can match it. But that's what it's going to come down to. They need that excitement to come back.
Barton, any reading on yet if the goggles that they came out with are successful and they're going to be that next big product?
Look, I hear a lot of enthusiastic talk about it. I'm not in that camp. I do believe that the price point and the cognitive dissonance of slapping a computer on your face for that much money, and the need to get the developer universe to buy into apps that work on this device. It's certainly not meaningful now. I'm skeptical that it's going to be meaningful anytime soon, such that you need to have investment exposure to it today. In fact, I'm more worried that this ends up being a long-term disappointment. We've seen this in some ways before, right? So we've seen Meta's push with Oculus, and we know that there's a niche of people who love it. And the price point that they're coming out with is not that niche. And we've seen a big wave in movie theaters, for instance, of 3D glasses, and a lot of investment, a lot of hype. It came, people tried it out, then it kind of went. And it's very difficult to get someone to slap something on their face, to pay a lot of money for it, with the state of the technology today. And I'm skeptical, and I would not use that as a reason to buy into Apple. In fact, I've been leaning against that idea.
Barton, real quick to wrap it up here. Apple saying iPhone sales fell only 8% in China. The IDC saying it was 19%. Who's wrong?
Apple is clearly right. They said their China sales overall fell 8%. They said iPhone grew, and they said everything else drug them down. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen, where you have high quality market researchers talking about unit declines for Apple in China and China, and Apple saying they're dead wrong. Clearly, Apple knows what it's selling, but it is weird, and I can't explain it.